Capital punishment. Capital punishment means death sentence. The reformative theory of punishment aims at the reformation of the criminal. It is therefore apparent that capital punishment is not justified according to this theory. If the criminal is given death sentence, the question of his reformation becomes meaningless. Prevention theory aims at preventing the recurrence of crimes. The criminal is not punished so much for his own good as for preventing others from committing similar crimes. This theory advocates exemplary punishment. Hence, capital punishment is justifiable on this theory. The severity of death sentence will be a powerful check on the criminal tendencies of others. The retributive theory advocates punishment to the wrongdoer after considering his motive, intention and the circumstances under which the wrong was done. But if the crime is of severe nature and if there are no extenuating circumstances, the criminal being hardened and incurable, capital punishment may be awarded. The humanists are opposed to capital punishment. They maintain that if punishment merely aims at vindication of the moral law, it smacks of revenge. A wrongdoer becomes temporarily insane while committing a crime. No murder is committed in cold blood. When society inflicts death sentence on a criminal, it does so in cold blood. Therefore, society or its leaders should also be punished with death. The humanists maintain that taking one's life to set an example to others is an act of barbaric cruelty. Homicidal crimes have not disappeared from the countries where capital punishment is in vogue. Capital punishment has no deterrent effect. According to the humanist, healthy and strong public opinion is the real deterrent to crime. Treating the offender as a means to an end is a crime. Treating the offender as a means to an end is a crime against humanity. According to criminal sociology, the taproot of crimes is social and economic inequalities. If the inequalities are removed, crimes will also disappear. According to criminal anthropology, mental deficiency is the cause of crimes. The criminals should therefore be sent to the psychoanalytic clinics rather than to the gallows. The British Royal Commission that undertook to investigate into the efficacy of capital punishment in Great Britain in 1949 could not definitely conclude that capital punishment prevented recurrence of crimes. The Commission was of the opinion that it was impossible to retrieve the verdict once the offender was put to death, and there were a few instances where innocent person was sentenced to death. The Commission therefore left it to the government to consider whether the life sentence would be a better substitute for death sentence. Recently, however, capital punishment has been abolished in Great Britain by an enactment of law. In our country also, some jurists and humanists are mobilizing public opinion in favor of abolition of the institution of capital punishment. The arguments against death sentence are true to a great extent, but abolition of capital punishment cannot also be advocated. It is true that crimes have not disappeared from the countries where capital punishment is in force. The incidence of heinous crimes may rise sharply if capital punishment is abolished in those countries. All cases of crimes cannot be due to social or economic inequalities or to some mental defects. There are what may be termed born criminal. Nothing can reform these born criminals. If a criminal who has committed a heinous crime goes off with a lighter punishment, it will give an indulgence to the criminal tendencies that may be in other persons. If the crime is of severe nature and if there are not extenuating circumstances in favor of the criminal, death sentence may be justified in that case. Where the criminal commits murder in cold blood, he will have to accept death sentence as his reward.